was oh man, that was very stressful. And that was an appropriately pretty good chipping up to Boston. All right, so given the fact that tonight's episode is likely going up past midnight, I feel the need to wish you all a fantastic St. Patrick's Day. Hey, gotta love the look at the Irish. And man, Bruins win 6-5 to the 6-5 to the Philadelphia Flyers. Welcome back to Into the Den, everybody. What do I say? What do I say? That certainly was a game. Do I need to go through this goal by goal? Do I need to? Do I really need to go through this goal by goal? I don't think so. I'm not going to go through this goal by goal. Instead, we're just going to vaguely go through the game. Yeah. Because ultimately, this is a very weird game. Yeah. And ultimately, I do think that the Bruins got outplayed. I really think that the Bruins were not the better team tonight. And it sucks to say that. It really sucks to say that, especially because you won. But here's the thing. Bruins go through the first 12 minutes of the game without a single shot on goal. We go through the first 12 minutes of this game without a single shot on goal. Oh. And thankfully we end up rectifying that. And Coyle had some freaking amazing. Coyle was bar none the best player on the ice tonight. There was not a single player on either team that was better than Charlie Coyle tonight. Yeah. Charlie Coyle was Weymouthing tonight. But it took a while for him and everybody else to get their ass in gear. I mean, it's a Bruins Flyers game. You know how this shit works. It is going to be chippy, and chippy this game was. Oh man, I remember there was a hit that McAvoy laid, which the only thing I'm really going to be able to say about this is beyond just what happened, which is McAvoy as Travis Konechny is driving the lane. McAvoy gives him a face wash and it disorients him enough to where he's forced to the outside, and then McAvoy just shoulder checks him into the board. Shoulder checks him into the boards just as he's recovering. That's fucking cool. Just not during a game. Like legitimately, that was an insanely cool turn. That was an insane. Let's not mince words. If the goal of hockey was legitimately to beat the piss out of your opponent and not to put the puck into the net, if that was the goal of hockey, this would be a fucking TKO. This would be freaking insane. This would be amazing. But you can't do that. You can't do that, and as a result, McAvoy got 2 in the box for an illegal check to the head, as he should have. But ultimately, Bruins, it took them a while to show up. It really took them a while to show up. Andrew Peak. I did not mention this in the last video, because the last video was very much fakakta because I only saw the first period and overtime of the Montreal game. And the worst part is that it was at a bar. It was at a bar in which the main event for the night was It was more so a queer poetry reading. So me being the angsty queer person, me being the angsty queer that I am, there was a part of me that was a little bit more invested into that. So that's why the Montreal games recap was not too in depth. This one I was fucking locked in. But even still, this game moved so fast that it was hard to really manage. But Andrew Peak, ultimately, great game from him actually. Like he's had two great games in a row, and it's really interesting to see where he goes from here, because I mean it's only 2 games right now. We can't exactly make sweeping generalizations about what he's going to do in the future based on those 2 games. You know, I will always liken it to the 2016. I'll always liken it to Michael Grabner during the 2016 free agency. I think it was Colorado that made like a big showing of, we got him for we got Grabner. This is gonna be fun. Or like, I forget who it was actually. It was someone in that really bad 2016 free agency class, where the first game with his new team, he has a freaking hat trick, and then it completely derails from there. You can't make a prediction on what someone is going to do based on just one game, or based on 2. When we have a greater sample size for Andrew Peak, that is when I'll be comfortable talking about him as a long-term option, which for what it's worth, that's sort of what we got Peak for. He was one of the few people that got moved at the deadline. As like the key piece that was not on an expiring contract. He's signed through next year, and from the looks of it, he could be a pretty damn good bottom pair defenseman for Parker Wotherspoon or Kevin Shattenkirk. It's not Derek Forbort, although we can't really assess Forbort's chemistry with Peak because Forbort was playing injured for most of the season, and he's now out for the rest of it. And again, I will say we can't entirely be like, hey, this be like, Forbort always sucked. Like yes, Forbort when he was on the ice was not really doing the Bruins any favors, but at the same time, it was evident that he was playing injured, and it freaking sucked. It really freaking sucked. Right. But man, it's kind of crazy just how the third period went. 7 total goals scored, and the first 3 of them were scored within the span of 3 minutes. It's the earliest one of them was Charlie Coyle with some really damn good stick work, just driving the net and for his 23rd of the season. And like 2.5 minutes later, we had Johnny Beecher. With a really nice goal line stand, and where he chips it in. I know Justin Brazeau desperately wanted to be in on that one, but I mean, it wasn't meant to be for Brazzers there, and then 20 seconds later, Jake DeBrusk with another fantastic shot. So all of that happened, and then all within the span of just under 4 minutes, we had another 4 goals where Nick Delorier, with his first goal of the season, ends up with a goal. Morgan Frost, and then Philly's stretch gets broken up by Danton Heinen with his 13th of the season. And then it goes right back to Philly with Joel Farabee's second of the game. This was like I said, this was an insane game. This is an insane game, and it is just kind of crazy that this much happened. Honestly, although I do kind of want to talk about the first goal for the Bruins just a little bit, because I remember this being awesome. Travis Konechny is driving the net because he's actually no, I think it might have actually been Ryan Poehling. It was one of the two. They're driving the net, and Swayman makes a stop, and then he makes another stop, and as the puck is just lying there for like a split second, Parker Wotherspoon just fires it off the end, fires it off the sideboards, and it goes right to DeBrusk's stick, and he and Geeky are on it, and they're just moving right to net, and Geeky just puts it right past the goalie. And I was gonna say that's it, but I almost forgot. This game was a celebration of the 1000th game of James Van Riemsdyk's career, and honestly, it was pretty cool that he did it. That this ceremony was during a game against the frickin' in Philadelphia Flyers. I know JVR had been there for like the longest time. It's no surprise to anybody that he still had friends on the other side, on the other team there, and the ceremony for games like these is always a little bit touching. You know, it's like remembering that the ceremony for Marchand's 1000th game happened with Tyler Seguin in the building. That was fun. And by the way, please Marchand, score your 400th. Please just fucking do it already. But in any case, I think that's really it. Bruins played. They played. That's all I can really say is that they played. And I will see you guys during that. I will see you guys in the next game, which the next one is on Tuesday against the Senators. Ooh man, Ottawa's gonna Ottawa there. But in any case, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys on Tuesday. Take care.